Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a dad of 6 kids, 4 of whom are adopted, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk today about aggression in our home, and specifically when that aggression is targeted more towards this other partner in the home, or maybe your spouse feels the impact of the aggression more than you feel it yourself. Now, this could happen for a few reasons. It might be simply due to the fact that you're not home as much as your partner, or for whatever reason, your child might decide to target your spouse more than you. Sometimes this could be due to an attachment issue, or maybe your partner's gender or personality traits, or maybe it's an issue of physical size where your partner is physically smaller and so is seen as an easier target for the aggression. Sometimes you and your partner might actually experience equal aggression, but your partner feels the impact of it more than you do. By the way, it's not a character flaw if your partner feels things more deeply than you do. I learned not to shrug things off and say, "Oh, just don't let it bother you." That's not helpful at all. Just because my partner feels things more deeply than I do doesn't mean they have a character flaw. In fact, maybe it's just the opposite. So there are a few things I learned through trial and error that did work, and some that didn't. So first I want to share one of the really important things I learned through a lot of conversation with my partner, that it's really important for them to know that I have their back in whatever the situation is, especially when it comes to dealing with our children and with an aggressive child in the home. They need to know that they are fully supported. Sometimes it's tempting as caregivers to feel like we need to take sides, and sometimes may even be tempted to side with our child instead of our spouse. But this is really ineffective. Our child can sense the division and they will take advantage of it. It's really important that we present a united front. And I had to learn that if I disagreed with a parenting tactic that my spouse was taking, that I needed to make sure that we discussed that behind closed doors where our child couldn't hear it, not in front of them. Unless, of course, there was an actual safety risk, and then, of course, you need to intervene, but that was never the case in our situation. Second, it's really important to value your partnership with your spouse above all else. In the end, the kids will be grown, they will leave the home, and it will just be the two of you. And it's important that your relationship survive the difficult years and comes out intact, hopefully even stronger in the end. We couldn't let our marriage suffer because of the aggression in the home. So we made it a practice to have date nights, times away where it's just the two of us, no kids around, so we could make sure that we were building into our relationship too. Next, I think it's really important to make sure that you don't always just try to jump in and rescue your partner in the heat of the moment. If you've decided ahead of time on a game plan, let your spouse deal with the situation as it happens, but then be there to back them up if the child comes to you later questioning what decisions were made or how things were handled. Your child needs to learn to value and respect both you and your partner. And if you always jump in and try to handle things yourself, you take away those opportunities for your partner to be able to grow in their confidence and build that relationship with the child at the same time. Of course, if your partner is in actual physical danger, then definitely step in and help. But I did learn over time that sometimes when I stepped in thinking I was helping, I actually made the situation worse by aggravating the child further when my spouse actually had things under control. By stepping in, I put the child more on edge and actually increased the aggression that was taking place. Finally, communicate with your spouse to find out what things or tasks you can do that will help ease their burden. One of the things that we found really helped was in regards to communication with the school regarding our child. For example, my wife had a really hard time dealing with the school whenever they called to let us know that our child skipped classes or didn't finish their assignments on time. Every time the school called, it caused her to experience almost a panic attack, and it really ruined her day. So we told the school to take her name and number off of the contact, put my cell phone number on there in its place, and my mother-in-law's name and phone as the backup phone number. So whenever our child skipped class or had some other issues at school, which seemed to happen quite a bit, it was me who got the phone call. And so my wife was able to have at least 6 hours stress-free, the child at school. If things were happening and a parent needed to be called, I was the one that got the phone call. And while it wasn't great getting those phone calls, I wasn't bothered by it nearly as much as my wife was. So I was able to help her out by taking on some of that stress and allowing her to experience a reduction in the stress, which allowed her then to be able to be better equipped to deal with our child and handle whatever situations arose at the end of the school day when our child was back home again. I hope you find some of these suggestions helpful. I know they really helped me, and that my marriage and our relationship is in a much better place as a result of some of these things. So thanks for listening, and good luck.